In July of 2012, Leah Hiller was training for the U.S. Triathlon National Championships in Island Lake, Minnesota. She planned to go for a mile-long swim, as she had done many times before. But what she encountered in this lake this time would turn out to be what nightmares are made of. The thing about Island Lake is that the water is the color of dark rum. So if you put your hand into the water, you can't even see past your elbow. And so you have no idea what's beneath. So as Leah's father and two children stood along the shore and watched her swim, Leah suddenly felt a pair of tiny little hands grab her foot, followed by a sharp set of teeth biting into her ankle so hard that it penetrated the bone. All this happened so quickly, and whoever this little thing is that has grabbed and bitten her lets go. And so in these next few moments, she is so panicked and confused, trying to think, what is this in this lake that I've been in hundreds of times, literally during my training, that is now attacking me? I've never had anything like this happen to me before. And just as she's thinking that, she sees a small head only a few feet away emerge from this lake. And this head kind of looks around for a second and then sees her and fixes its gaze directly onto her and doesn't look away. And it's at this time Leah realizes she's looking at an otter. And she said, surely this can't be what just bit me. Otters don't attack people, do they? But what Leah didn't know at that time is that later doctors would realize that otter was currently infected with rabies. And so it had essentially turned it into this rogue, bloodthirsty otter that was staring directly into her eyes. Seconds later, this otter torpedoes back into the water and heads straight for her legs again. Then she feels a searing pain, she described it, into her calf muscle. This otter's teeth sliced through her calf muscle while its little hands were grabbing her leg. And at this point, she begins to panic and scream. She said, this thing is ripping me apart. I need help. It's crunching into my ankle bone. It's slicing into my muscle. I need real help, or this thing is going to tear my legs to pieces. On the shore, Leah's father sees this commotion. She's splashing and screaming and waving her arms all frantically and panicked, and he knows something's wrong. She's never done anything like this and all the times that she swam in this lake, and so he quickly rushes over to a pontoon boat that he owned. But in his own panic of seeing his daughter in this state, this frenzied state, he accidentally floods the motor of the boat and it won't start, and he's not able to get out there this moment to help his daughter. And so Leah does her best to swim to shore, knowing she can't outswim this otter, and puts one hand over her throat, knowing that if she got hit there, she would not make it. And so she continues paddling to shore as fast as she can. The entire time, this otter repeated the same cycle. It would grab hold of her legs, bite into her, let her go, swim away, and emerge on the surface, looking around until it saw her position again, and then dart right back under the water and start it all over. This otter would go on to do this 25 times. Leah Hiller was ripped into 25 times by this rabies-infested otter before her father was finally able to find a neighbor's pontoon boat and fire it up and get out there to save her. When Leah was finally pulled onto the boat, her neoprene wetsuit was ripped to shreds on the entire lower half of her body, and blood was pouring down her legs. Her two kids were horrified to see her and instantly started crying, and she was taken to the hospital. Later at the hospital, when doctors realized that this otter likely had rabies, she had to receive a rabies shot in every bite wound, meaning she received 25 shots in her open wounds. But Leah went on to make a full recovery, and she continued training for the triathlon and did not let this stop her.